You best start believing in ghost stories. You're in one. We're in one, like, together. Not just, like, specifically you. You yourself haven't been isolated and quarantined and being haunted. All of us in this together are being haunted by the ghost of censorship. But it's not a ghost, it's tangible, it's real, and it's happening all over the place right now. We're getting hit from all angles here like it's the Kama Sutra. It is a full-blown, red alert, nipple-squeezing, ass-greasing censorship showdown, and it is flooding every possible aspect of the online space right now. The one I want to follow up on today is one that I talked about a bit ago, with Collective Shout successfully using payment processors to bully Steam into removing hundreds of games that they deemed too disgusting to exist. They were really niche gooner games that were very low-hanging fruit and easy target, and then immediately piggybacking off that successful campaign used the same tactic to strong-arm itch.io into removing their content as well, except that extended to things well beyond just those really specific rape incest games that they targeted for Steam. It then extended to every adult game on the platform, and it is showing no signs of slowing down here as payment processors are now cosplaying as the moral arbiters that dictate what you can and cannot use your money on. It's a really bleak future. It is a terrible thing. And MasterCard is aware that it's a bad look for them as they've been inundated with tons of very rightfully angry and concerned customers and clients that are reaching out about how unacceptable it is that MasterCard would tell them what they are allowed and are not allowed to spend their money on. They should have no say in that matter at all. As long as they're not buying like actually illegal shit, which they were not, then there should be no issue here whatsoever. So MasterCard has come out with a statement where they're trying so hard to like downplay it and look like their hands are clean in this, but it's just a blatant lie that Valve has already called them out on. So let's go ahead and look at the MasterCard statement, but I also want to make a mention. itch.io is actually relisting some of the free, not suitable for work content that was de-indexed as a result of this unholy alliance between Collective Shout and the payment processors where they did the fucking Dragon Ball Fusion dance and became every villain is Lemon's fucking evil. And once all of that content was removed, itch.io has now been trying to re-index the ones that are free, so that way it doesn't even go through the payment processor. So as long as the adult content is no payment, it can be listed again on itch.io here, and they're trying to find other processors to avoid putting the platform at risk. Stripe, however, has issued a statement to them saying Stripe is currently unable to support sexually explicit content due to restrictions placed on them by their banking partners. Despite card networks generally supporting adult content with the appropriate registrations, Stripe has indicated that they hope to be able to continue adult content in the future. So Stripe is putting the kibosh on it, but leaving the door open, like maybe down the line, when Collective Shout and others stop fucking, getting them on the horn, yelling and squealing about whatever they want to make a hoopla on, then maybe they'll start supporting it again. But as of right now, it's not like it's improved in that area. Anyway, let's take a peek at what MasterCard had to say. Clarifying recent headlines on gaming content. MasterCard has not evaluated any game or required restrictions of any activity on game creator sites and platforms contrary to media reports and allegations. Our payment network follows standards based on the rule of law. Put simply, we allow all lawful purchases on our network. At the same time, we require merchants to have appropriate controls to ensure MasterCard cards cannot be used for unlawful purchases, including illegal adult content. That is what we call a big load of barnacles. Valve already gave a statement to Kotaku, well, a spokesperson for Valve did, which is probably the fastest I've ever seen Valve give a statement, to be honest. They immediately came out and said, wait a minute, nope, flag on the play, we're going to have to challenge this one here, this is ridiculous, because it was MasterCard, it was these payment processors, it did come from them. That was reported by Steam and itch.io. It is an irrefutable fact. So anyway, Valve came out to once again say that that's exactly what happened. They said payment processors rejected Valve's current guidelines for moderating illegal content on Steam, citing MasterCard's Rule 5.12.7.
MasterCard did not communicate with Valve directly despite our request to do so. MasterCard communicated with payment processors and their acquiring banks. Payment processors communicated this with Valve, and we replied by outlining Steam's policy since 2018 of attempting to distribute games that are legal for distribution. Payment processors rejected this and specifically cited MasterCard's Rule 5.12.7 and risk to the MasterCard brand. So that rule that they keep referencing states a merchant must not submit to its acquirer and a customer must not submit to the interchange system any transaction that is illegal or in the sole discretion of the corporation, may damage the goodwill of the corporation or reflect negatively on the marks. The sale of a product or service, including an image which is patently offensive and lacks serious artistic value, such as by way of example and not limitation, images of non-consensual sexual behavior, sexual exploitation of a minor, non-consensual mutilation of a person or body part, and bestiality, or any other material that the corporation deems unacceptable to sell in connection with a mark. Violations of Rule 5.12.7 can result in fines, audits, or companies being dropped by the payment processors. To put that into human language, it's basically saying MasterCard reserves the right to terminate business with a company that is selling illegal products or services or selling things that MasterCard deems potentially damaging to their brand. Really though, the purpose of having this baked in is so that way even if a company isn't doing something illegal or selling something illegal, they can still have this rule here where if MasterCard just decides, we think that might be somewhat risky to our image. Thus, if it's not removed, we're leaving. They have that here. They have that ability to fall back on that. So in this case, Steam, they weren't doing anything illegal, at least not from any of the available information out there, but since MasterCard was told that they need to take action by collective shout, they can then say, hey, if these aren't removed, we're leaving because this is damaging to our brand, we don't agree with this content, we will not support this. Thus, they can threaten to pull out from Steam and itch.io. And it's in their rules that they can do that for anything that vaguely could be construed as, damaging to their image. It doesn't have to be just illegal stuff. And MasterCard comes out and blatantly lies about it. Like, they tried so hard to, placate. It's unreal. They immediately got called out on this lie. They were talking about how they were going to clarify misinformation around their involvement in this censoring and the removal of these games. And, trying to make it seem like they're blameless in this. But they are literally to blame. Them and Collective Shout working together. This tag team. It is blatantly misleading information MasterCard just puts out there, and I bet there are no repercussions for them as a company for it, even though it is just literally not true about how they weren't really involved in these games removals. Yes, they were. Valve also confirms that. Valve tried to argue saying hey, this is all part of our moderating, policy that we've had since 2018, replying with that information, only to get met with a fucking wall where they said, nope, here's our rule, and we're going to terminate our agreement with you if it's not removed. It's silliness to then come out from them and try and pretend like they didn't do anything. Everyone's just got the story all fucked up. I wonder if they're going to try and issue another statement. My gut tells me they won't. They're just going to let that simmer and sit and hope people forget about it. But hopefully that doesn't happen. I hope people continue to call these payment processors, voicing their concern and outrage over this. It's clearly working. The fact MasterCard made a statement at all shows that it is actually doing something. It is actually getting to them. Thus, it's effective. So, that pressure should be kept up, for sure. Because we do not want to encourage this kind of behavior where payment processors have this kind of power to just censor shit. They should have no say in the transactions you are making and what you are allowed to spend your own money on. It's just absurdity that it's getting to this level. So anyway, I just wanted to give you a follow-up on this. That's about it. So yeah.